Morning and welcome to our webinar. So we're just going to wait for a little bit before everybody else joins in, just in case we have more people joining in. Thank you so much, Tammy. And hi, Esme. Okay, Alvina, good morning. It's really nice to be able to connect with all of you. Thank you so much. Lydia, hi. And really nice to see all of you. Okay, all right. So I want to share with you that today we're going to be able to engage on this very interesting topic: how to not just survive through life, but instead, how do we thrive? How do we really flourish? How do we not just get overcome challenges and just get by every day? But what if we could actually enjoy each day? What if we could actually flourish through each day? Is that even possible? So we're going to share a little bit about that. Hi, Kisti. Hello, Cypher, and everybody, Jacqueline. So we're just going to wait for a little bit first in case we have more people joining in. So can everybody tell me one word to describe how you're feeling this morning? I'm going to say excited. I don't know. I'm just going to say excited. What about everybody else? Tired. I'm sorry, Rebecca. Hungry. Oh my God, I'm sorry, Amirul. I'm sure you must be gloomy, tired. Raya mood. Yes, it's very, very soon. Great and happy, frustrated. Raya mode. Yes, so I'm great, basic, good, amazing. So the good news is, right, how we feel every day. I mean, how we feel today and even right now may not determine how we're going to feel at the end of the day. Am I right? You can feel totally like blah right now, but at the end of the day, you can actually reprogram yourself into fashioning how you want the day to actually end. You can. It's very difficult, but it's possible. That's actually why we're here today, right? Okay, sleepy, thirsty, wonderful, good, amazing. Okay, really nice to see that. Okay, thank you, Dr. Ashish. And then we have Kasmadi saying, stressed, but fighting on. Really nice to hear that. Gambate. Okay, thriving through. Tracy says mixed feelings. Yeah, actually, there's like a lot of mixed feelings that we might be going through as well. It is morning time still. We still have the whole day. It's like literally the middle of the week, work week, and we're hopeful. Hi, Sharon. Okay, so we're just gonna wait for teensy bit. I think just like a few, give it a few more seconds. All right. Tell me the first word that comes to your mind when you hear the word thrive. What does thrive mean to you? So for me, the first thing is flourish, but grow. Okay. Lydia says grow. Anybody else? What's the first word that comes to your mind when you hear thrive? What does it mean to you to thrive? It doesn't have to be a dictionary definition. No, just like what does it mean to you? Okay, so hustle, glow, prosperity, effort, keep fighting, in the flow. Survival of the fittest, achieving success, have soldier on, right? There's something known as glimmer. Have you heard of the word glimmer also? It's like little moments of sparks of joy, and they call it a glimmer moment. And I love having that. Yeah, yes, I think yes, it will be recorded. Ashikin, yes, it will be. Don't worry. You will even get the slides also at the end. Okay, becoming the best version of you. Yes, definitely. Alvina says survive. Yes. So the interesting thing is thriving is like surviving but to another level of survival. It's like you're surviving on, like, you got your game face on. You're not just surviving like half dead, but you're like surviving with, like, you're on top of things. Imagine you're swimming in this wide sea and you're not drowning, trying to keep afloat. That's surviving, right? But you're thriving. You're like with the freestyle stroke and you're like, I got this going on. I'm going to the lifeboat right now. I got it going on. So it's kind of like in that kind of a way. So you are on top of things, basically. Okay, so 207, 208. I think we have about 200 of persons who have joined in. Okay, thank you so much, Kelly. So I'm gonna get right to it right now. So from surviving to thriving, and how do we really have strategies to build resilience, right? Okay, a little bit of housekeeping rules. Everyone, if you can make sure that you have a stable internet connection so that you can have the best of the webinar, but it will be recorded as well for you. If you can test out your speaker output, will be also good in case you cannot hear me. All right. And then if you experience any technical difficulties, all you got to do is just kind of like refresh it, All right. So then you can be able to rejoin the webinar. And if you still have any issue persisting, what you got to do is you can see the chat box there. You can just type Elias. Okay, so Elias Naluri events, and then you can type what exactly is your issue that you're facing if you're facing any technical issue. And also, feel free to ask questions. We love questions. And there will be several polls coming up. So please participate in the polls because we really want to hear from you. And you can share your comments also. It doesn't have to be only questions in the chat. You can also share your comments. Keep it super, super, super interactive. I crave for that. Okay, I love that. If you want to PM me, okay, you want to have a private message to me, all you got to do is type Elias Pan and then type I'm sorry, yeah, if you want to be like you want to send it in anonymously, so you can just like type it privately. If you don't mind just typing it in a publicly, just type as usual. Otherwise you got to have kind of like a at Pam, and then you have like a private message. I'll be sure not to read out your name. Okay, and the good news is your handouts will be given to you at the end of the session, which means that you will get a copy of the slides. It will be shared at the in the format of a PDF, right? Okay, so it's nice for you to have it. Okay, a little bit of introduction. I'm Pam. I am a Naluri mental health coach, psychologist. I'm also a lecturer in IIUM, and I am certified as a PFA aider and also a mediator. So I love doing therapy sessions, one-to-one, group therapy, family therapy, also do couples therapy. So it's really interesting. No sound. Wait, can we help SE here? Can you hear me, everybody else? Can you hear me? Am I audible? Can you hear me? Can hear. Okay, maybe SE gotta like maybe refresh and see. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so before we begin, right, I want to ask you this question. Thank you so much, Hisami. All right, there's a poll that's gonna come up right now. We're gonna ask you something. Teensy, winsy, winsy bit. All right, so we want to ask you based on the poll that's about to arrive, which of these pictures can you most relate to the most? On most days, which do you look like? Which one is you on most days? Of course, we don't look like that every single day, like the same one, but on most days, kebanyakan, most of the time, which one are you? Like, are you the first one, which is like, oh yes, I'm like such a on top of my game, competitive, ambitious, I know where I'm going? Or number two is like, I'm in the rat race, I'm like struggling to keep up, but I'm like running, I'm always on like running mode. And then the third one is like, you're really, really struggling and you're practically languishing. You're questioning life. You're thinking of like, I don't know why I'm here. Maybe even thinking of quitting, because not just quitting your job or quitting in life or anything. So it doesn't mean that we are saying that you are like this forever, but you know, on most days you feel that way. Let's check out the poll. All of you can see the poll too, so you can know how everyone's doing as well. I think most of you can relate to number two. On most days, actually, I agree with you. My answer will also be number two on most days now. But there are days where I did feel like number three and like number one. But most days I'm like running to catch up, rushing. I just traveled back yesterday from Penang, came back here, and then I have several classes and talks and everything that I'll be going back again this weekend. So, and it's like rushing kind of a thing, right? Okay, so most of you choose number two. And the second highest one, interestingly, is number three. I thank you so much for sharing that, by the way, for being so sincere. This is anonymous, I forgot to tell you. Okay, so you don't have to worry. Um, which means that we are not alone, right? Don't you think that this poll makes us feel kind of comforted? Like we're not so alone. We can relate to each other, actually. Okay, I want to share with you something. What could be the reason you feel the way you feel? All right, so I teach positive psychology also. And according to research, they found that 50% of why we feel the way we feel is actually, let's blame our parents. No, I'm kidding. No, but it's genes. It's basically genetics. Okay, so look at your parents right now. Can you think about them? How is their emotional disposition? Are they kind of like usually most of the time on a bubbly, happy mood or kind of a pessimistic mood? And can you relate to any of that? Do you feel like you have some some of those genes as well. But the good news is it's only 50%. That's the only percentage and ratio that affects your emotions. It's 50% of it. But the other ratio is actually a combination of, I like these two things, okay? You know how people say like, my life has been very difficult. It's so terrible. So that's why I'm like this. That's why I'm very moody. But according to research, right, they found that your life circumstances only amounts to 10% of your emotion. It only influences and affects 10% of how you feel today. It only has 10% of control. Actually, if it does have any control, it's only 10%. Where's that other 40%? It's what you do every day. That means how we choose to start our day, how we choose to spend our day, how we respond to situations, how do we create our own joy. That's 40%. It feels kind of comforting because it feels like, oh my gosh, I do have more autonomy than I think. I mean, when I saw this, I didn't agree with it. I was like so angry. I was like, no way. I think it's the other way around. I think life circumstances should be more. But this is based on research. And then when you look at your own life, oh yeah, I do have a lot of autonomy, more than I am claiming, maybe. Maybe the moment we allow circumstances to influence our emotions, we have now given the remote control for our emotions to every circumstance and situation. That means if things go your way today, then it's like the life is like pressing the button of like the channel of like, okay, today is your happy day. So let's see, Mark, okay, today's your happy day. I'm gonna like, you're gonna be happy today. Okay. Or Alisa, hi. Okay. So today's your like, anxious day. I'm gonna make you anxious, for example. So that's the kind of thing that you can see happening here. It's like you actually have a lot of control, but when we allow outside circumstances to influence us, that's when we are giving away our remote control of our emotions. So think about this for a moment and reclaim that 40%. Okay, I like what Aliza says here. It's how you react to those life circumstances, I guess. Yes, exactly. It's how you respond to it. I mean, lots of terrible things can happen. Are you going to choose to, I wouldn't say overcome and challenge it and, like get rid of those feelings? No. The new wave of psychology is not getting rid of anger, and it's not so much that. It's more like embracing that feeling, embracing grief, embracing that anger that you're feeling, but finding out what is causing you to feel that way. When you embrace that, okay, I think I'm really angry right now. I don't know why. Or maybe like, I'm really, really pissed off. Let me go aside and process this. It's better to say that as compared to like, I'm not angry. And then you're like burning inside and you're like suppressing it. And then you're like a ticking time bomb. If any one of you watch Lego movie, then you will recognize that character called Princess Unikitty, who's like, there's no room for negativity, and then she in the end she kind of like blows up. So it's kind of like that. And so you need to remember that, yes, it's how you respond. It's how you respond to situations. That's very, very important. Okay, so okay, let's see. Anybody can, you can type the thoughts, by the way, or you want to ask me questions at any time. Okay, so I see someone saying here, all right, depressed individuals blamed the 10% life circumstances for what they're feeling, right? Yeah, some of them, not all, but a lot of them do that. I think even me, if I'm feeling really down, sometimes we might be thinking, check your thoughts. Are your thoughts saying, why me? Why must it always be me? Why blah blah blah? So we tend to go in that direction, and usually it tends to have a dip in our emotions. It's not to say that we have to be faking it. No, it's gonna be toxic also. We don't want to be toxic positivity also, but we want to be able to at least identify like, you know what if this research really was true in my life too? What if it's only influencing 10% and 40% I can repaint my day and repaint my life right now? It's not too late. It's not too late. Lots of people start living only at the age of 40 and 50. I'm seeing that a lot in a lot of clients nowadays. So it's cool for you to try it out. So thinking of it in this way is like a little bit of a dimension and mindset shift. Okay, I want to share with you something interesting here, okay? Another thing that could be influencing why you feel the way you feel is, okay, we talked about genetics just now. It's also your personality. So your personality could be a combination of your parents. It could also be just you, your trait as well. So your personality type. Now there are lots of personality tests out there, right? Lots and lots and lots. I like looking at personality in a nutshell, from this simple dimension, which we use in work also a lot. It's like a simplistic kind of a very nice summary dimension here. Okay, Ashraf already said type B. Okay, thank you, Ashraf. So let me share with you a little bit. All right, we have like type A, B, C, and D. Okay, so A, usually the type A, right? We describe them as like very high strung, very, very ambitious, and like they're super competitive. If you give them something today, they already finished it yesterday. Like they're super efficient. The con is that they are super high strung, so they're not very lenient with anything that's less than perfect. Everything has to be super perfect. If you forgot a comma in your report, oh, you better be careful. Like they're gonna get freaked out and like, oh my god. And type B is like very easy-go-lucky, happy-go-lucky, easygoing, chillax kind of a thing. But the con is that they're too chillax. If 3 o'clock meeting, 2:59, they're still walking like, chill lah, got 1 more minute. And then they can just, if you got deadline, you have to like really, really like back up with the type B. So that's the con there. Okay, the type, but they're very flexible. Type C, they're very anxiety prone, they're very introverted, and they're very stress prone. And because they know that about themselves, they will try to prepare things ahead of time to kind of like counter that stress and anxiety that they're going through. But the con is they can get too anxious, they're very rigid. If you go for holiday with them, you better not change the itinerary. Suddenly change and go to somewhere else. Oh my god, they can get very, very stressed. Most probably they already printed out the itinerary, okay? And D is they're like very, very into being a follower. They love routines and orders. The con is if you give them autonomy to work on a project, they might not like it because they feel like it's too much freedom. Just tell me exactly what you want and I'll do it. So how do we help them? We need to help empower them by giving them tasks to help them export it. Okay, so these could be the types that might be influencing how you feel as well. So, for example, if you're a very dominant A, I mean, we can be a combination of two. Like Lasita says A and B. Yeah, you're right. Devinta says holiday itinerary. I like that though. I like that you're doing that. It's cool. Okay. Helmina says ACD. Usually you have like two very, very standing out one, like dominant. You have one dominant and one not so dominant. My dominant is B and I have a small A, which is why sometimes I need to have things proper, perfect, like that. So mostly D, but I can be C and A and B. Okay, maybe some people say it depends on situation also. At home they are very, very A or B. Depends who or what, right? But it depends. You will know your dominant one. All right, everybody. So based on that, you can understand why do you respond the way you do. Then you can understand why do you feel the way you do. Then you can understand your spouse, your friend, your colleague, your boss. You need to know when you understand this criteria, then you understand each other and you kind of like, meet halfway. Because if your spouse is a very high strung type A, very dominant A, and you're a very dominant B, you need to meet halfway, man. Otherwise, you can have some kind of like, disagreement sometimes. Extroverts can be B, not necessarily. They can also be an A, but it's more like about how easygoing they are about things, how flexible they are. So Kanishka says, okay, A and B. All right, let me see. How to identify who's our dominant one? Okay, your dominant one, Ria, would be like, for example, look at yourself right now. How do you feel you function most of the time? There are tests for that also. You can try it out online. I think that must be go for a proper test. Okay, so like most of the time, do you respond in a way that you have to have things done very, very perfectly and everything? So then you're going to lean towards A. If you're a very flexible, not rigid person, you might be leaning towards B. So based on that, you can see which might be your dominant item, and based on A, B, C, D. Of course, we have a little bit of all actually. You're right, Samin and Jacqueline. You're right. But you would have one that stands out the most. Definitely. Emily says A and B. So based on that, you know why it's important for you to understand this? Because you need to know this, then you know how to work with people. Like I have a friend, she's type A, and I work with her a lot. and she's really wonderful. It's just that I need to understand where she's coming from. So when I deliver things to her, I need to know like, okay, I need to do it in this way. I have a friend who's type B, then I know I can function in that way. It's about adaptability. Remember, it's not just about surviving, it's about thriving, right? Oh, sorry, I forgot this. We have a poll here. Sorry. Okay, let's bring out the poll. So there's gonna be a poll here. Let's see how many of you are A, B, C, D. Okay, there's a poll here. Let's all try it out. Let's see in our chat room right now, in our group right now, what kind of audience do we have? Okay, mostly. Sorry, you have to choose only one though here. It's either A or B or C or D. Okay, so never mind. If you feel you're a combo, choose the one that maybe is the most accurate, like it describes you the most on most days. On most days. We have a tie for B and C, but I'm guessing not everybody answered yet. Okay, we have more B here. So I can chill right now, okay? No, we have type C as well. Type C, right? You kind of need to speak a bit slower to them. They are a bit more anxiety prone. When you rush them, they get more anxious. And just like that, when you speak fast, they can also get anxious. You need to know who you're dealing with. So it's really helpful, actually, to do that. When you know who you are with, you would flow better. And that influences how you feel. I got a friend who's type C. I wanted to introduce her to my other friends in the event. And then she's like, Pam, you know me, right? I cannot all these. I was like, okay, okay, I forgot. I'm sorry. So when you understand each other, you flow better. Most of you are type C over here, right? And the second runner up is a type B. Is it? All right. Interesting. I will speak slower. I'm sorry. Okay. All right, so it's cool though. It's nice. I mean, it means it's just for you to know who you are. So now that you know, okay, let's go to the next one here. Okay, another thing that's going to influence how you feel the way you feel, why you feel the way you. I am a B. My wife is C. My first son is A. My second son is D. Oh, bagusnya. Macam we have a very nice combo at home. We need each other, you know. Do you know? Cuba bayangkan, if your whole team is all A, oh my gosh, I cannot imagine. Ataupun your whole team is all B. Oh, cannot, right? We need each other. So you have a very balanced house, Ashraf. My boss is type C, right? To manage stress, I have to counter her. Yeah, in a way, not so much counter, more like manage. Manage stress by managing her. You manage her. You can adapt in a very, very nice way. You know how to like psycho in a very nice way, in a genuine way. You read up on people who are type C, then you know how to like adapt with them. Okay, coming to this next one here. Why do you feel the way you feel? Okay, everybody, complementary to each other. um I think there's no like particular specific compatibility kind of a thing, like you know how they say opposites attract, right? So sometimes it could be opposite, you know, like A and B kind of opposite, could be, but sometimes it's not necessarily true as well. When you have a lot of similarity, I don't know, what do you guys think? Do you think opposites attract when it comes to couple and romantic relationship or even compatibility? Do you think so? I feel like it's nice to have a bit of opposite, but you need to have some similarity as well. So if you're both kind of like B, you help each other out, so you kind of flow better in some situations together. I'm type C, but I like to hang out with the outgoing people because I like to hear their stories rather than me speaking. See, that's the compatibility happening there with Jocelyn as well. She's C, but imagine if she's with another C. I'm more of a listener kind of person. Okay, I'm a speak. I'm also a talker sometimes, but I remember my friend and me when we're both listeners and we're both B. We tend to be very quiet together and we eat quietly only. So it depends, you know, you need like both opposite attract versus herd mentality. Yeah, that's true, Hizami. Good call here. It's true. I think depends on the situation. Sometimes you do need the herd, sometimes you do need a bit of opposite so that you kind of like motivate each other. Celebrate the similarities, embrace the differences. I like that part. Okay, so Gen Y, me too, Ashraf. All right, so look at this, everybody. We're gonna have another poll right now. All right, I want you to tell me which is your generation that you're coming from. And the reason I'm asking you this is because you need to know who you're with. So look at this picture. Okay, I know that we are made up of different offices right now in this chat, but if you check out this picture, look at the year. Can you see the year? I know it's a bit small. You're going to get this handouts later. Nanti, can you check out the year? And then you can see like which generation is your spouse, which generation is your colleagues, your team member, your team leader, your friends, your peers, your boss. When you know which generation they are coming from, you will know how to speak their lingo. You know what I mean? If you're dealing with a Gen Z, you can't be like so paper kind of person. If you're dealing with a baby boomer, you can't be so, maybe I'm not saying for everybody, okay? Disclaimer. I'm just saying like majority. You may not want to go so into tech savvy with them. So depends. We only have a few baby boomers. So cute. All right. We have mostly Gen Y. Yay. Gen Y, you know what they say, right? Gen X is like the generation that said, no, we're opposing. We're not going to do things that way. We're going to do it differently. And Gen Y is the generation that says, why must we choose that way to do it? Get it? Gen Y. And then Z is like very much the current and looking at things from a different dimension. So most of you are Gen Y, most of us actually, and so the Gen Y, they're kind of versatile. They're millennials actually, and they look at things from a very versatile kind of. They're like the middle person between X and Z, and we need to know if we have any baby boomers also in our office because that also influences how we feel. Okay, all right. So thank you so much for your polls, everyone. Can I ask you something? I want to know something before we go into the how. What are your biggest causes of blockers to thrive for you? What usually makes it so difficult for you to be your best self? Your blocker. I know that it might not be in the list here, but maybe most of the time, out of these options, if you had to choose one, which would it be? Is it your own self? Your own self can be perfectionism, self confidence. Is it financial blocker? Is it family? Is it office people? Office people, definitely colleague or boss. Or is it family? Definitely family. Or what? Which one? Or is it work? Maybe it's not people, it's the nature of work. Let's see. Um, Most of you put internal. That's really interesting. Do you know we call this like internal locus of control? Which means, okay, my perfectionism, my own standard, Kiara says that. Um, Overthinking, I don't know where to start. Okay. Oh yeah, Hizami's right. Sometimes some of the things may not be exactly at that generation. Okay, let me see. Um, Let me see. Okay, so most of you are saying self, right? Okay. That's really interesting that you say that, because then you're in the right place right now in this webinar. Because when you say self is majority, it's not wrong if you say family, colleagues. Of course, it is one of the um, causes also. I would choose any of those as well. It's just interesting that you say self also because it also shows that you feel like I have some control now. If I know that I'm the blocker, I can unblock because you are yourself and you can control over you. But what if your blocker is a colleague or boss or workload or family? You can still help yourself to unblock it. You can with some ways within what's within our control. Of course, we cannot control our boss or our colleagues or our family, but you can control how you choose to respond to them. You can control the boundaries that you choose to have with them. You can control some adjustments and things that you want to do to make life more tolerable with their presence in your life. So that's kind of stuff. Okay, so thank you so much for sharing that. I can see like most of you said is yourself. There's this framework that you got to know that they keep talking about this framework because it's very important in the business world. So a lot of you are from corporate, right? And this framework talks about VUCA. I'm sure you've heard of it before, right? We have something known as VUCA. So it means that, you know what, since the pandemic and even before that, our lives and our work is very like VUCA. It's very volatile. Instead of being volatile, let's try to find a way to be versatile. In terms of uncertainty, let's find a way to actually have an understanding of what's going on. So you're like changing the acronym from something negative to something positive. From complexity, let's find some kind of continuity and certainty to find a way to understand what's going on. And ambiguity, find a way to accept what's going on, but find some way to embrace it and then a way to like move forward from it. So that's when we need to reach out for help, right? Um, none of those blockers. It's more to surrounding. Family can be secondary. Okay, so environmental blocker kind of a thing. Okay, all right. If you look at this, right, based on self acceptance, the key to harmony. That's true. Thank you so much for sharing that, Ashraf. You're right. When we have acceptance of ourselves and our surrounding, it doesn't mean okay. It's very interesting that you say that, Ashraf, because now it connects to our next slide. Okay, I want to ask you guys another poll here, just to ask you, test your understanding. What do you think is going to be the best way forward, based on all the blockers that you said just now, right? What is the, according to your opinion, okay, there's no right or wrong answer, but there's a more suitable answer perhaps. Which one is the best way out based on what we're going through? Which one is the best way we can kind of like go through the blockers? Okay, so easy one, right? I mean, most of you said adapt, some of you say accept. It's not wrong actually, all of your answers are right. Sometimes there are some toxicity, toxic people, toxic situation you need to avoid. There are some things you need to alter. Maybe you change the situation, change the way you look at things, that's alter it. And then accept. Kita pasrah, we just accept it like that. But if you adapt, I look at adapt as in it's like all of the above now. You are avoiding, you are altering, you're accepting, but you are kind of finding a way to adapt with it. So you're not completely like blocking it out. You might avoid, but you find a way to adapt with it also. You find a middle ground. So adapt, it would be the most apt one, and most of you got it as well. I mean, but it's not wrong if you chose other things too. So adapt would be good. How do we adapt? Avoid toxic to have peace in self. Correct. Accept the fact of past. Adapt to current situation. Alter what we can control and avoid things that we can avoid. Oh, bagus dia Ashraf. We got an Insta message over here. Somebody please put it on Insta. It's so beautiful. Avoid toxic. Okay, and we have like avoid self-acceptance. All right. So, how on earth, everybody, can we reignite our passion and our purpose? And to do what Ashraf said over there just now, to try to adapt there very, very well, to really kind of like enliven and live in that vigor and flourish and to thrive. Avoid if could and adapt if couldn't. Yes, and a bit of acceptance also, right? So if you cannot avoid, okay, then you gotta accept and then adapt. So you kind of like find a way to. I look at adapting is like accepting with modifications. So it's kind of find a way to adapt with it. You're right. We can't avoid everybody. If people are your stressor, you wanna avoid people, then you gotta go to Mount Himalaya or even Mount Himalaya got people. So I think it's somewhere there. You have to go somewhere and just like be alone and we are social creatures. We need people in a way to thrive as well. We kind of like a symbiotic kind of a culture that we have, very collectivistic, right? Okay, coming to the meat of today's webinar, right? How do we adapt, like what all of you are saying also? One of the ways that we can do this is through this thing called psychological flexibility. Do you know sometimes people are so intelligent, high IQ, super rich, super successful, but they do not know how to be flexible emotionally and they can crumble down? Have you ever seen people like that? They're very, very high IQ and intelligent when it comes to work, but when it comes to emotion, they cannot adapt, they cannot be flexible, they're very rigid. We call it the black and white thinking. Either this or I'm going to cut off from you, either this or that. It's just a bit dangerous when we think in that way because not everything can be solved in a black and white manner, isn't it? Sometimes we gotta find a way to like breathe and find a common ground in order to move forward. Otherwise, it'll be so difficult to survive. But sometimes we need to toxic also. I mean, we need to avoid the toxic as well. But thank you for sharing, Lai. That's very sweet of you to say that. I mean, I think all of us might do that once in a while. It's okay. It's okay. But it's good that we recognize that in ourselves. How do we move from that to becoming psychologically flexible? So what does it mean to be psychologically flexible? This is if any one of you is familiar, right? In therapy, we call it acceptance and commitment therapy. It's called ACT actually. It's a very interesting therapy approach. So there are 6 components here to be psychologically flexible. One is being present in the here and now. How many of you here are multitasking? Come on, show of hands right now. You can like give me an emoji and say, or working on this with my therapist. Yay, awesome. Okay. Um, I like black and white thinking, no need headache with multiple options. That's true, Cairo. But one thing I think maybe what you mean is like more of like clear options, right? This black and white thinking is a bit different from that one. It's more like very much all or nothing. It's very much like I cannot be there's no gray area with me. It's either I be all or nothing. Don't ask me to like try to adapt to something. It's either I have it my way or no way. That's the kind of thing. So that's the one that can be a bit stressful sometimes. Okay, a lot of you are multitasking. Thank you so much, Shafika, Alisa, Mahiran, Cynthia. Thank you for your honesty. I mean, okay, I want you to try something for just 1 minute, maybe, right? If you can, just sort of like just focus on one thing. If you wanted, you can focus on my voice for 1 minute. Try it out and see. It's so liberating. It's like watching a movie without your phone, honestly. It's like watching a video clip and just like total penghayatan tau. You just really, really watch it and like embrace like, wow, the beautiful music and the lyrics and the expression of the video. It's super liberating and nice. Can you try that out and see for just 1 minute? Okay, Kiara says, I like having options. So black and white and gray, all or nothing scares me. Okay. Your voice is so soothing. Oh, thank you, Ellen. All right, so try it out for like just 1 minute. You feel like so different, I tell you. Have a cup of coffee. Sorry for those who are fasting. I mean, maybe look outside your window and just look at the beautiful sky. It's so nice. It feels boring and weird at first, but if you seriously do it for 1 minute, it's really interesting. I used to play this game with my sister when we were on long road trips, like going to Ipoh from Penang. It's very interesting because we'll be like making out cloud pictures. That's how mindful we were. But somehow when we become adults, we're so used to like multitasking, we don't know how to do that anymore. It's so restless. It's unsettling, isn't it? It's so hot outside. Sorry. Yes, it is very, very hot. So being present. Number two is your values. What matters the most to you? This is very important. Why are you working in the job that you're working in right now? Can I ask you? Are you driven by extrinsic motivation or intrinsic? Thank you, Catherine. Oh my God, so happy to hear that. Are you motivated by intrinsic or extrinsic? Yes, you're right. Gen Z is very into multitasking, right? It's true. But they kind of miss out on mindfulness. They don't know how to just like be still and be calm and just kind of like just chill with the moment. I went to this beautiful beach. Okay, it's in PD actually, and I was just like, I kept taking videos and pictures, but it just wasn't capturing the moment. I put my phone away and I just like, let me take a mental picture, and it was oh my god, so nice to do that in the morning. Um, I'm intrinsically motivated, so I'm happy. I'm working in a field specific job that I love doing. Okay, cool, nice, extrinsic. So the thing is, when you are intrinsically motivated, what is the thing about your job that really motivates you? And you can PM me if you want to be private as well. Okay. So I want to share with you. Yes, exactly right, Ria. I love watching the waves too. When you know your intrinsic motivation, like mine is, I love sharing knowledge. That's why I'm also a lecturer. I love helping people. That's why I'm a therapist. And I love engaging with community. That's why I do community work. And also, I love webinars like this because I can speak to like 300 people at the same time. So awesome. So, because of that, my value is sharing, community, and love, and blah, blah, blah. So, when that happens, I will do this enjoyingly and passionately. And the intrinsic is so overtaken that it makes me feel like I have value and meaning every day in my life. I wake up and I look forward to the day. So you need to find that. What is your value? And then you'll be committed to your action. And then you look at self as an experience and observe your experiences. Look at self as a context. You are your own case study right now. What are your experiences in the past and in the present? How has your past shaped you? I know people who have been through very terrible abuse or trauma before, and then they can see that it's influencing their present. So when they take notice of it, then they recognize how to not let it control them in their present, but at the same time, how to recognize, like, Oh, this is why I feel this way now. This is why I'm so gung ho angry when people do stuff like this. This is why I'm so afraid of situations like this. So you need to understand yourself. And okay, and then you come to this part called diffusion. When your mind is not settled and you're super angry and upset and nervous and you're not at peace, if your boss said something to you and you're not happy and you're worried about something your colleague said, I mean, God forbid, all these things, but if something like that happened, we call it fusion. It's like a fuse, it's called cognitive fusion. But what we need to do right now is to help you to diffuse. How to do that? Go aside. If you're really, really upset and you're in the midst of people, just go aside. I have my own office here. I'm really blessed. If you have your own office, if you don't, you have a cubicle, go to the washroom if you must. Okay. You need to go aside for a while and just kind of like calm your mind. Have your earphones with you. It really helps me a lot to calm myself down and process, okay, what just happened? Why does that happen? How can I now address that issue? What can I do? Damage control? What can I do? Blah, blah, blah. So that's the diffusion happening. And then you have the acceptance. So, like how Ashraf said just now, right? Accepting your situation and finding a way to move forward with that. So, I'm intrinsically motivated, perfectionist. That's already a formula to see. Seeing myself, okay, working Kiara. I don't think I really know who I am aside from work. That's something that you need to discover as well. Who are you outside work? Who is Kiara outside work? Who is she? What does she want to do in her life? If you didn't have, if you're outside your work, and if I put you in another country for a holiday, what's the kind of person you would be? So enjoying taking deep breath in the morning, really refreshing. Exactly, Irene, that's a very good idea. All of us need to do that. If you can check out deep abdominal breathing, if you do that for 5 times, it's like super nice. Um, all right. Another thing I want to share with you, very, very important, is psychological safety. Okay, so we call this psychological safety. Do you really feel safe at home? Do you feel safe at the office? How to know if you're safe? That means you will have these four parts here. The bottom one is the first one. Do you first feel included in your team? Number two, do you feel you're allowed to make mistakes and to learn? And number three, do you feel like you have an avenue to contribute and your expertise is really needed and wanted? You really feel like people want you, they look for you. And number four, do you feel like you have the avenue to kind of like challenge some ideas, share some opinions, and that kind of a thing? If yes, you do have psychological safety. If you don't, then you need to work with your team leader or together with each other, find out how can we foster more of this, right? So you don't have to tell me right now in the chat box, but in case it's private, but you can see within yourself, do I have psychological safety in the office? What about at home? Do you really feel needed and wanted as well? Thank God. I'm so glad to hear that, Kiara. Okay, coming to this part here. I love this part so much. Oh, is it Ashraf? Okay, that's good. If you have a challenger environment, that's very good. Some people don't like to have that. They feel intimidated by people who do that and they feel like defensive. We don't have to be defensive, Poon. We just have to look at it as a growing environment, right? Oh my gosh, that's true, Ria. And I'm blessed to have a supportive boss. And I think you are too as well. Okay, there's this framework that's super awesome, okay, that Naluri has. It's called Think. Let's think, all right? So it goes like this. Number one, how to get resilience and how to thrive. Number one, take control. I'm going to share with you more, okay? H is having hope, a hopeful outlook. I is making informed action. And N is nurturing. And K is knowing your goals. Let's check it out one by one. Okay, so taking control means, remember I shared with you just now, the remote control for your emotions must be in your hands. Not like, I don't know if today is a good day, depends on what happens. No, you are going to say today is a good day. Today is a good day, come what may. If things are not so great, it's okay. I will find a way to cope with it. This is what I used to say. No matter what, everything will be okay. And I changed that mantra now, because I don't know if everything's going to be okay, but no matter what, I can face it. That's what I say. No matter what, I can face it. So even if things are not okay, doesn't mean it's not a good day. A good day can also comprise things that are not so great because it's a learning experience, and tomorrow I can learn from it. It's still a good day. See, so it's within your control. That's a mindset shift. Then we have H here. it's having hope. So remember, peace comes from within. Okay, it doesn't come from only if my team is peaceful, then I'll be peaceful. No, you be the change you want to see. I know it sounds so cliche. You be the change you want to see, but really, you have peace. If you're at home and it's a very, I mean, let's say if you live in an environment it's not very peaceful, you can create that peace. It starts with you. So that's why boundaries is very important as well. Because remember, if the peace starts with you, you need to protect that peace as well. So that's why I have boundaries. That's why if somebody's trying to burst your bubble, and how do they do that? Maybe they overstep their boundary and they don't give you any space. They don't give you any freedom to choose how you want to spend your time, you know, in your off day, pun, like all this kind of stuff. So that's why boundaries is important because you need to create that peace. If people are sucking that peace, then it's difficult to have boundaries and then you cannot have that peace now. Yes, exactly, Ria. I used to have that problem. Saying no was a challenge, but it's it's working now. It's helping, right? It's very liberating and it's very important for you to thrive. It feels selfish, but it's not. It's actually self. How do I say? Self thrive, self care. Not just self care. Self care is everyone says self care, but I want to think of it as like self saving. Tao. It's more than self help. Yes, thank you, Lydia. Self help. That's true. Self help, self saving. You need that for your sanity. Seriously, you totally need that. All right. For yes, inner peace. Coming to that, actually, that's a very nice eye, by the way, Susan. So, inner peace. Another eye here is informed action. So, I learned this from my very very good friend who is no longer around right now, but she taught me this. And she's a very good speaker, and she said to me like, imagine. I'm sure that maybe you heard of this as well. So imagine that your sky, your mind is a clear canvas of blue sky, and every thought that you have and every worry is represented by a cloud. So in this case, the cloud is something like a thought, like a negative thought. So our goal, of course, is to kind of like see the clear canvas sky once again. So when that cloud comes, don't box it away, don't push it away. Embrace it first. Ask yourself, is this thought a reality or my assumption? If you're feeling sad about or angry with someone, maybe you feel like, I think they have something against me at the office. I think they don't like me. Okay, is it a reality or an assumption? Maybe it's an assumption, then let it pass you by. If it's a reality and you have concrete evidence, okay, what's the root cause of this happening? How can I make it better? Then you go to the action phase here and you go like, what is within my control that I can do? Maybe I could kind of like go to that person, have a bit of rapport building, interact more with that person. Maybe like, have a bit of a meal with that, a lunch or something, or a meal with that person, and say like, you know what, I think maybe I kind of missed something here. Can I actually help you out with something else? Did something happen, blah blah blah. You can find a way to rectify it, but that's the cloud. Okay, so then you let it pass you by. Pay attention to your mind right now. Remember I told you 1 minute. So what if you pay attention to your sky? You heard of meditation, right? So there's a lot of traffic happening sometimes. But if you can just be still, I use music to just kind of calm my mind. Because if I just keep quiet and just close my eyes, it's kind of like too many thoughts. But music helps take me away and just calms me down. So you can do that. Yeah, soft music, right, Susan? So Roslan says, a peak attitude causes a person to fail, to highlight the individual's potential. A peak attitude. Peak. Maybe can you elaborate more about the peak attitude thingy? Do you mean like a negative attitude? Yeah, oh, you mean like picking on yourself, right? Yeah, picking. True, true. Okay. Iqbal says, reminds me of Occam's razor. If you have to assume, the less likely it's true. People are laughing at the pantry. They are laughing at me. Do you know that? Or are you assuming? Helps me get through the day and stop overthinking. Oh, that's really nice, Iqbal. Thank you for sharing that. That's really, really true. That's exactly how it is. It's not just about assumption also. It's also about thoughts, worry. Maybe your worry is financial also. You can use the same cloud analogy. It comes into your awareness. Embrace that worry. It's a real thing. Okay, now what can I do that's within my control? Right? That kind of a thing. Okay, N is nurturing yourself. Remember we said just now, self-help, self-love, self-care, and self-saving. We need to save ourselves. So find a way to actually develop your feel-good hormones. How many of you know, like, there are four feel-good hormones? This is what it starts with. If you can guess what is D and O and S and E stand for. Can you guess? These are the famous feel-good hormones that we all have in our body. Yes, exactly, Lydia. Dopamine, yes, exactly, Iqbal. Okay, great, Sheikh. Okay, dopamine. Lydia says oxytocin. Sheikh says oxytocin, serotonin. Lydia, yes, Satvinder, oxytocin. Correct. Lydia says endorphin. Correct. Sue, endorphin. Helmina, endorphin. Correct. So now, do you know that we have the power to activate that even more in our body? D, okay, dopamine. Dopamine is activated when you do stuff that you love. Like me doing this with you right now is like dopamine being produced. You're so working on a report and you're like so on time and you're enjoying it so much, let's say. Okay, or any work, or you're like working out and you love it. O is oxytocin. When we give each other support, like in the chat box right now, and we feel supported, some of you are doing the alliance to each other. It's so supportive. That's oxytocin. Also, the very famous one is when a mother breastfeeds a child, sexual intercourse. But oxytocin is more than that. It's also like BFFs, friendship, team building. And then you have the S, which is serotonin. And serotonin is like, yes, I know you can take a Xanax, Mark, but this is the natural way if you also want to like boost it up in a natural way if you want to. All right, so S is like serotonin is also like food, dark chocolate, pineapple, oats, lentils, legumes, all this kind of stuff. Then you have endorphins, which is released when you laugh, like right now, and also when you watch comedies and when you exercise, right? Mandi air sejuk bestnya. Okay, kalau cuaca panas, right? If it's very hot and you bathe in cold water, avoiding the drama. Yes, of course. So nurturing yourself through all of these things. Do you know gratitude is very interesting? I know it's people keep on saying that, right? Be grateful, but it sounds so like cliche. But you know what? Scientifically, right? According to research, when you are grateful, like if let's say I say to you right now, if I say to you, I'm very grateful to have all of you being so kind and loving and beautiful. Now my body is producing dopamine. And this dopamine, when it's produced, will keep spotting more things to be grateful for. It's like a cycle. But you got to start somewhere. Can you start? Like, what are you all grateful for? Can you type in the chat box? Yes, fake love. Interestingly, we know your brain cannot tell the difference between a fake situation or experience and a real situation and experience. There's a way to do it though. There are two steps that you need to do. Maybe that one I'll share with you guys another time. But it's interesting. Read up on this. Okay, maybe I'm concerned about the time, right? So let me give you guys what to read up on. You gotta read up on this, then you'll understand how to program that. Okay, reticular activating system. It's in our brain. How to program it that even fake laughs can release it. Okay, Kiara says grateful after a good holiday. Grateful for a smile from a team. Exactly. So when you do this now, your body's producing dopamine, and then afterwards you're gonna spot more things to be grateful for. That's how it works. Okay, coming to this other nurturing part, it's called love, loving yourself, loving others. Of course, very very nice for us to do that. When you do that, having unforgiveness, it doesn't hurt the offender; it hurts the victim. So do it for yourself. Forgiving someone is for you. Actually, it's a favor for you to be free from that anger kind of a thing. So loving self, others. Okay, the K is knowing your goals. Your goals. How to do that? That's why you gotta get in our app. We will teach you how to do that. So there is a module called like a SMART module about helping you to define your goals. I think you heard of SMART before. Have you heard of SMART? What does S stand for? An M, an A, and RT. So S basically stands for anybody? Specific, Lydia. Yay, Satvinder. Okay, you guys know already. So M is measurable. So remember, it needs to be very specific, your goals, right? You have the A, attainable, right? And then what's R and T? So you said here, do list of gratitude daily, be grateful, smile for 30 seconds while dua, it releases endorphins. Secrete dopamine, make you happy, serotonin, make you good mood, oxytocin, makes me love things. Lessen the stress. Very nice, Ashraf. You have a lot of Insta messages now. Can you put on Insta? Okay, time bound. I like all your messages. All of you are awesome. Okay, time bound. So yes, that's how we do it. Okay, I'm gonna go to the next one right now. So this one is what? What do you see here? These are organs now. I teach positive psychology. This is very evidence-based, you guys. Do you know our emotions are very much connected to our physical health? Very, very connected. That's why we have something known as psychoneuroimmunology. That means your psychological well being is very connected to your neurons and then your immune system and then your organs. Imagine your stomach smiling now. My friend taught me this. Okay. Can you imagine? I like what she said because it's really interesting. Imagine your heart smiling. Can you imagine your lungs smiling? It's like your emotions are so in tune with your brain and your organs. Seriously, people are so afraid of viruses and everything out there. So one of the first things that you can do besides taking vitamins to fortify yourself, besides having good food and sleep, is to have good emotions. Getting angry, getting worried, getting upset is all not good for your organs. Betul. Have you heard of this before? Is it interesting for you? Okay, so that's what you need to know. All right, I'm going to come here to all of you right now. Can you all whip out your phones and can you scan this QR code here? This one is anonymous. It's for you to know your resilience level. Jom kita buat sama-sama. Can you try and see? Can you scan this QR code so that you can see your resilience level? Okay. Have you? Is there a link? Can I ask if there's a link? Alamak, cannot scan up. Is it? Can you scan it? Is there a link? But you're gonna get this PDF actually also, right? In a way. But if you can scan it, it'll be great. If not, we will give this PDF to you also. I'm going to give you this other thing. Oh, thank you. Thank you, NK. Oh, great. Awesome. Thank you so much, King. Thank you. Okay. After you do that, then you can try this other one here. Okay. If you're using a laptop, maybe you can save all the links. It'll be really easy for you. If not, you're going to get this in the handouts tab. You just have to go to handouts and you can download this PDF. Okay, so this is another one here. We have a free Naluri mental health assessment here where you're going to be able to, oh, sorry, maybe our admin can help us out over here a little bit. All right, so this mental health assessment here is for you to see your symptoms of depression, not necessarily that you have depression, but it's like low mood, anxiety, stress, and burnout. Oh, thank you so much, Michelle, for sharing. Okay, all right. Sorry about that. I think Michelle's sharing the link with you. All right, so try this out and see also. If cannot, we will share the link with you as well. Okay, I think our tech team will be helping you out right now. Okay, this is if you want to book a one-to-one consultation with any of us. So it's really nice in Naluri. We have like a whole group of psychologists that you can choose from. If you prefer a male, you can choose from a male. If you prefer a female, you can choose from a female too. So you can book like a one-to-one session. I'm also here as well if you want to book a session with me. So you can book a therapy session with us. You can see our schedule. And then you have here the app. So you can go to Play Store or you can just download it from here. Okay, so you can scan this, you can download it, and you can have the app, or you can have the desktop version, which is if you prefer to type with your laptop. I think a lot of us prefer that as well sometimes, maybe. So you can use your desktop version too. This is for you to scan. But don't worry, we're going to give you the handouts. Then I think we will also share the link, maybe if it's easier. All right. I am now going to come to some Q&A. Okay, you guys, can you notice on the bottom left corner, there is something like give your feedback. This is on today's webinar. So if you can give us your feedback on how things were, if you like to see more stuff like this again, let us know so that we can know and then we can actually like give you more and organize more webinars like this. So if you like it, you can share over here. Okay. In the meantime, you can type any question that you have in the chat box. So if you have any questions, you can type it out over here. I will be looking for your questions here. Okay, so you can give us your feedback. How do you set boundaries with a family member who has mental health issues such as OCD? Okay, that's good. That's a really good question, Surinder. Thank you so much for asking that. So there are many people who have like certain obsessions. So OCD is actually obsessive compulsive disorder, right? So remember that it starts with a thought, and then their thought is taking over. It causes their body and their behavior to be compulsive and repetitively doing a certain behavior. So always remember that we need to detach ourselves from the person. We are not that person. So if they want to do it on their own self, that's on them, but they cannot overstep the boundary and expect you to do the same. I know people who live with people who have OCD, and they expect the other person to also wash everything like them, do everything like them. So it's unfair to impose that on you. So you need to set boundaries by saying that if you have the need to do that, I respect that, but you cannot impose that on me. That kind of a thing. So I think setting boundaries like that. Also sharing with them if they would like to get help, if it's causing them distress, that will also be a good idea, actually. That kind of thing. Because it's not fair to you if they impose it on you, right? Okay. Um, let's see. Gen Z is referring to people born after 2000 or 95. I always thought 90s babies are all Gen Y. 90s. Okay, so Gen Z, let's look at the exact year. Okay, year for Gen Z. So it's the late 1990s and early 2010. That's how they say it. So the late 1990s, like Gen Z, 1997. Some of them say even 1997 to 2012. So it depends, though. Not every 90s is going to be Gen Y. Sometimes they are the ending of Gen of 90s will be more towards Z already. Yeah, so but it's like if you're a Gen Y, probably you're born before 1997, 1995. Okay, sleep. But sometimes anxiety creates early morning awakenings. That's true. Do you mean like 4 a.m., 5 a.m., or 6, or do you mean like 2 a.m.? So if your anxiety is causing those early morning awakenings, one of the first things to do is try to identify what could have been the trigger for that anxiety that morning. Was there anything that happened that day that caused that anxiety? Have like a sleep diary beside your bed. Like what was the dream that you had? Maybe you had a dream and you woke up from that dream. What were the things that happened that day that might be causing you to be anxious? What's going to happen tomorrow? Maybe you're anxious about the next day also. So that can also be causing you to wake up too early. So we need to find out what is causing that anxiety first. Only then we can address that sleep issue, because the main cause is the anxiety. So if you address the anxiety, the sleep will eventually be addressed also. Usually, people who are very busy and they have no time to address what they're feeling, they tend to think about it when they're sleeping. You know, like you keep suppressing, right? It comes out in your sleep that time. Some things that you didn't address. So we need to identify and explore. Is there something I haven't dealt with? That's why talking to a psychologist can be very helpful as well, or a mental health coach. We also have that in the app, right? Like all of us need someone like call it like a tune up. Even psychologists need psychologists too, just to kind of like check in with them, right? Okay. Um, let's see. So what was that again? What was let's see. Okay, doesn't provide the type in the file. Session content webinar name. What's the importance of reticular activating system? Okay, thank you for that question, Lydia. So there's this bundle of neurons. It's my favorite part in the brain. One of my favorite parts. It's called the reticular activating system. So it's a bundle of neurons that is situated like in your brain, right? And it's responsible. It acts like a filter. It's responsible for a lot of the experiences that we go through in life. So that reticular activating system kind of like absorbs it like a filter. So it spots opportunity. It remembers trauma and all that. So a lot of times when people have been abused or have been traumatized, that part remembers and it captures it like a TV screen. And it's like a CPU, it has it all there. So when you see the person who traumatized you or who abused you, the reticular activating system is like, it goes flaring up and it's like, okay, let's avoid that person. So it acts in that kind of a filter. So you can reprogram that part. That's the interesting part that we have here. And how to do that? There are two steps for you to do to reprogram that part. So if you want to know that, I can share just very quickly right now. The first step is for you to First, imagine what you would like to achieve. Okay, so imagine what you'd like to achieve. All right. For example, just now, was it Vinod who said like, I want to be able to do a fake laugh, right? So imagine a very funny scenario, like maybe something really that really happened to you, or a very funny happening that you're thinking of. Imagine it happening. And step number two is attach an emotion to it. So like, oh my gosh, that's so funny. I'm like really thinking of that is making me laugh right now. So when you attach an emotion to it, your brain now thinks that it's really happening. It's even nicer to do for things you want to achieve, like a vision board. That's how a vision board works, actually. So it's like, okay, I really want to be able. Remember the part, know your goals. I really want to be able to go to the beach this year. I love it so much. So that's what I did for myself because I love the beach. I'm from Penang Island, so I love it. So I stay in KL. So I was like, oh my god, I miss the beach. I want to go to the beach this, more often. I kept having my desktop. If you can see my desktop right now, it's all beach kind of like wallpaper, and I would imagine myself walking on the shore in that wallpaper, and I will think like how amazing this feels. I can feel the breeze on my face. I can smell the sea. Oh my gosh, it feels so good. So number one, I saw the picture. Number two, I felt the feeling and the sensation. It was so real that my brain now thinks I'm really there, and it sends the signal to my body to respond accordingly, to kind of like spot opportunities to go and get that vision. It's the same way when you watch a horror movie or a sad show and you can cry. How can you cry? It's the fake kind of a thing. It's just the character, but you can cry because you saw the picture and you felt the feeling. That's how your body is so powerful. And okay, this is based on this psycho neuromuscular theory. I know a lot of psycho things today that we're talking about. Okay, let me see. Picture plus feeling. Exactly, Lydia. Thank you. Is it okay if you don't want to reprogram it but keep avoiding that person? Seems not to be the best solution, but how to handle it? That's a very good thing that you said, V. You know what? It's okay. It's okay though, because some people it's causing you toxicity. And if you don't want to do it, you don't have to force yourself. But I want to share with you very quickly, if I may. I did it for that very same situation that you're saying, right? I did it. The person kind of hurt me, and I visualized that person walking towards me and they're smiling, and I'm walking towards that and I'm smiling. And because we're good friends, so I was imagining like how things were before and how nice we are. And like we are like, laughing and joking and hugging even. I went that far, okay? I kept imagining that, number one. Number two, how nice it would be to just make peace with that person again and to just have it back like before. I kept doing that, and then true enough, the person called me up, apologized, and like suddenly met me and sent me fruits that day. Coincidence? It didn't happen right away, by the way. It was like after a few weeks. So I think what's happening, it's not magic. It's more like science, I think, because you are reprogramming your brain and then your body kind of sends out those vibes of like, reconciliation. I think that's how it happens. You know how they say ucapan sebagai doa, as your words are like a prayer. Just like that, your thoughts are like a prayer too, right? So that kind of a thing. Okay, we're gonna take one more question now, I think. I love all of your questions. You guys are awesome. Can you like come back again next time as well? I love talking to you, all of you. Okay. What are the ways to deal with or adapt to toxic relationship or triggers that you cannot avoid, like family member, colleagues, or boss? Oh God, great question, Emily. Thank you. It's true. You can't really cut off from family member, right? It's very hard. You can, but it's painful. You can't really cut off from your boss. You don't really have a job then. So I think what we can do is, first of all, Emily, you can try out the thing that I told you just now. It kind of worked a lot of times for me when it even for relationships with people. Um, I want to share with you something else as well if you're up for it. There's this activity also. It's kind of like it's a reconciliation activity actually. If you want to check it out, it works the same way as what I'm telling you, the scientific way. If you're interested to check it out, it's a very interesting thing. I would recommend doing this for family members though. It's a Hawaiian word. It's called the Ho'oponopono activity. Interesting if you want to check it out. Okay, so it just talks about reconciliation, but it's very much the same concept as the reticular activating system that I was telling you about. The psychoneuromuscular theory. I like this activity. I came across it and I felt like this is so much like what I teach in sports psychology. Sportsmen, athletes do this, by the way, not the Ho'oponopono, the reticular activating. They do that. They visualize. It's called visualization also in some languages. Some people call it visualization. Some people call it vision board. Some people call it, what else do they call it? Like positive thinking. They call it all kinds of things. Yeah. So that's what they call it, and it's very. You can use it for good. You can use it for reconciliation. You can use it for lots of things to achieve your goals. It does not mean that it's like magic that you will definitely get what you visualize. It's also subject to God's will and what's meant to happen, what's written in your life. Yes, exactly, Emily. It's like the law of attraction. Exactly. You're right. Okay, interesting fun fact. So I did get to go to the beach many, many times last year and the year before, and it wasn't for holiday. It was all for work, and I kept getting invited to all these places for workshops near the beach, for trainings near the beach, for this near. It happened to be like that. So I don't know if it's um kind of like got to do with programming. So it's possible though, like very much like your body kind of spots opportunity and it kind of like goes towards it. So very interesting concept for you to tap on. And sportsmen use that. So please check out the psychoneuromuscular theory because that's what Michael Phelps uses. Ronaldo uses that. Lots of these athletes use that. So you got to use that. It's really interesting. Practice many, many times in our mind first and only you put into action. Yes, you're right. Actually, you practice it in your mind. Your brain thinks you're already doing it in action. That's the interesting part. That's the interesting part. So then your body will eventually go for it in action. Interesting. Cool, right? So you guys got to try it out. Yes, you can have the presentation slides in the handouts. Um, to share with you, right? Why is it that you gotta try the visualization thing? Lots of advertising companies also do that. They actually do. It's part of priming, actually. So you gotta prime your own self. Don't let people, or don't. We don't only have to be primed by what's around us. You can prime your own self. Check out priming. That's another thing you gotta check out. PRIMING. Okay, we have put the slides over there. You can download it. Um, Kiara, oh my God, exactly. So you would totally know subliminal priming. Am I right? So you can use it on yourself. That's what I'm trying to say. You can do it. We know all these secrets, right? Why don't we use it on ourselves for good? Right? Okay, Kiara knows. All right. So thank you so much, everyone. I think I will just pause here for now. Is that okay? Can I conclude now? We just had this. Oh, Wai Chin, I think I recognize your name. Okay. Thank you for joining, everybody. Thank you so much. Really enjoyed talking to all of you. Char Kway Teow from Penang. Oh my God, Gamma. Oh, I love that. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you. Take care, everyone. Thank you so much, Kirsty. Thank you, Irene. Thank you, Tiki. Thank you, Carol. Okay.